So, this week, there was a guy in Liverpool called Nick Whitcomb who owned a gym, and he took issue with the fact that gyms in Merseyside were not allowed to open when gyms in neighbouring Lancashire were allowed to open. And he won his cause against the government regulations, where he said that he wanted to open his gym. So anyway, he won that, and that's a good fight, and he won it, and it was hailed as a great victory against the forces of tyranny that are currently prevailing in this land. I kind of agree, but also if you cast your mind back not so very long ago, in a time that is increasingly receding into the distance and maybe one day forgotten by our descendants, there was a time when everybody could go to the gym, even people in jail, and now it's sort of hailed as a victory if someone achieves that right for himself or his business or the people who fraternize his establishment. This kind of shows me how far we've fallen. Also this week, in Wales, they're under a full lockdown, and they've also started to cover up. I think probably most of you have seen pictures of this in supermarkets, which have been allowed to stay open because they're selling essential goods. They have to cover up the non-essential, or they've chosen to, whatever the case is. They've covered up non-essential items, which include books and basically lots of things that make life worth living. But the reason why they're covering up these things that they consider to be non-essential or that make life worth living is because essentially they don't think your life is worth living. They think you're non-essential. Now, people find that a little bit hard to grasp because they still believe in a benign government. But let me put it frankly, I don't. They are trying to crush the small businesses, the manufacturing that's left in this country. They're trying to crush whatever they can do and to take us headlong into a tyrannical state where we don't have any rights or any almost any recourse to reply. So what can we do about this? And there's not, as an individual, it often feels like kind of futile. You can't really do very much. But one of the things we can do is stop complying in little ways. And one of the little ways we can stop complying is just to show a little sign of dissent. It's not to wear the mask. Now, some people, I'm actually surprised every time I go out and speak to people on Saturdays, how few people actually understand that you don't have to wear the mask. There is in the legislation, it says that the exemptions include and they have a series of medical conditions. Now, most of us don't have a medical condition which would exempt us, but they include one aspect of the law is that it's severe distress. You don't have to wear one if it would give you severe distress to wear a mask. Now, I know people who are actually being caused some kind of medical distress or some kind of actual physical distress and they're still wearing it because they're not aware of that. But if it gives you, like it does me, severe distress to comply with tyranny or to comply with liars and warmongers and alleged pedophiles, then you don't have to wear one. I've never worn one. I just go about my business as normal. Most of the time, people think, oh, well, I don't want to have the hassle. Like, I don't want to have the hassle of someone challenging me about the mask. But you have to remember that also applies to all the shop assistants and security guards. They don't want any hassle either. So they're just as inclined to avoid confrontation as you are. So just stop wearing it. That's a very simple thing you can do. And if we refer back to the law again, it says exemptions include these things. That doesn't mean that's exclusively what they've listed. You can provide an exemption of your own. If you choose not to wear one, you're exempt, in my opinion. Certainly the severe distress can apply, but it's not limited to severe distress. It's not limited to the medical conditions that are listed under the law. You can find an exemption card on the government website. I'll try and put one in the comments below this that you can download onto your phone. You can also buy one in the UK for about 90p from, I forget the name of it, but I'll put the link in the comments underneath. We need to stop complying. That's a very small way, and what it does do is it signals to lots of other people that you are not complying, that you're not taking part in this nonsense, and I am absolutely certain that they're monitoring CCTV or social media, and they're looking to see to what extent people are complying. And the more people do that's one small show of force that shows that they're not willing to have their bodily autonomy taken from them, the better, as far as I can see it. When you go into a supermarket and you do this, and if you do get challenged, speak to them with the authority of somebody who owns their own body. Someone who has more authority over their face than the security guard or the cashier or the shop assistant, because that is what you have. It's really important that everyone understands you have more authority over your body than somebody you've never met who lives in a ivory tower or a corrupted parliament or corrupted Congress, wherever you are in the world. Stop complying. Don't wear the mask.